Well, all right. Andre Carson says the Tea Party polls would like to see black people hanging on a tree. Carson, I have to tell you, you barking up the wrong tree. For the party that has the history of harvesting strange fruit has been the Democrat Party.
I think what's happening. Propaganda.
Welcome to ZoNation. I'm Alfonso Rachel, and this is my right-wing rant. This past week, I attended a town hall event at the Crenshaw Christian Center in Inglewood, California, headed by Congresswoman Maxine Waters. Wait, hold up. Democrats are always dogging Republicans for being right-wing, Bible-thumping Christians and that church and state should be separate. Yet they don't have anything to say about these Democrat statespeople holding town hall meetings in a church? I don't have a problem with it. But I just think it's kind of weird that all of a sudden the rest of the separation of church and state Democrats are silent. Not only that, they began the town hall meeting with prayer. They must not have gotten the memo. Democrat leaders are supposed to be talking down to real people, not talking up to some imaginary God. I don't mind that they prayed, and I was happy to join them, which is why I didn't record it. But Democrats in general are not a friend of Christianity, even if they consider themselves Christians. That includes you, Miss Sheila Jackson Lee Smurf. Don't act like you've got love for Christianity. You just said this not too long ago.
Mr. Dunleavy, are you familiar with the Christian militants?
Yes, I am.
Can one say that they might possibly want to undermine this country? Would you suggest that that might be compared to trying to undermine this country? The issue is whether or not their intent is to undermine the laws of this nation. And I think it is clear that that is the case.
You obviously don't hold Christians in high esteem. So these Democrats held a town hall meeting at a church, which is taboo to the Democrat Party. They participated in prayer, which also violates the Democrats' principle of separation of church and state. But the one thing they did do that is consistent with the Democrat Party is demonstrate their lack of patriotism by not saying the Pledge of Allegiance. But hey, y'all Democrats are all about globalism. They want all the nations to be equalized and a centralized world government. The objective of the Democrat Party is to cease being the United States of America and bring about a one world government. This is what's on their mind. Check it out.
All right. And I just have to, in her district, thank her for giving me the opportunity to serve you in the Congress of the United States of America.
Oops, a little Freudian slip there. And to the attendees of the town hall meeting, I get it. You don't want to show your loyalty to mean old America with the pledge. You'd rather show your loyalty to a party that has enslaved blacks, lynched blacks, segregated blacks, and despite these atrocities, the Democrat Party was able to buy the loyalty of the black community with food stamps. Not only do the Democrats have the loyalty of the black community, the Democrats made sure that the blacks hate Republicans to make sure they never go back to the Republican Party. Just like the Democrat LBJ said, I have those niggas voting Democrats for the next 200 years. Now, of course, the Democrats aren't going to let you in on their hateful agenda as demonstrated here.
We're not going around the country to make enemies. We're going around the country to make a difference.
We're not going around this country to make enemies. Oh, so what's this?
As far as I'm concerned, the Tea Party can go straight to hell. And I intend to have them get there.
Me and the Black Caucus making friends. Cleaver then takes a cheap shot at Colonel Allen West.
And we are a group, the Congressional Black Caucus, 43 of us, 42 are Democrats. Come on now. 42 of us are Democrats, and we are committed. And you know, God made us all to have different personalities and different fingerprints and stuff like that.
Hold up, didn't you just say this?
We're not going around the country to make enemies.
If you really believe that, then you wouldn't feel the need to make that snide, discriminatory remark. But hey, you're not trying to make enemies.
And we got to do jobs for people around the country. A white guy was in the line in Cleveland, and he said, look, I listen to black radio, I don't have a job, can I get a job here? And the answer is absolutely. We don't discriminate. That's not our history.
Cleaver says we don't discriminate, yet it looks like Maxine Waters discriminates about who's gonna introduce her.
She said to me today, Danny, I need you to introduce me. Because you know me. You've worked with me. I need a strong black man. Even if you do look like a white man.
Hey, she didn't disagree. She didn't challenge him on that statement, and nobody in the Democrat Party is going to challenge them for that statement. And I've got to point out that speakers at Tea Party events don't say they only want to be introduced by a strong white person. It's never been said, and it never will be said. But you know that if it was said in the Tea Party, the Democrats would be all over that like Bill Clinton on an intern with a box of cheeseburgers. Let's take a look at this now.
A wheelbarrow will never move unless it's pushed. And that's the same way with this economy. If we don't push the economy, if we don't do some things to ignite the economy, it's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, Cleaver, you're not going to get much applause for that. Go back to talking about how much you're going to tax the rich for the poor. I got to ask, what does Cleaver expect from the audience when these officials go in there and butter up these people with promises of what they're going to do for them and how much they're going to tax the rich? And then try to turn around and say something to the effect of y'all are going to have to work. Now, I'm not trying to say that people are lazy. What I'm saying is, Democrats, be consistent. You talk about them having jobs, but you program them with the entitlement mentality. Why should they have to work when you're fighting for extended unemployment benefits, more government housing, and food stamps? To continue.
A lot of discussion about African Americans being 15.9% of the unemployment rate, while the nation is hovering around 9%. We didn't just start struggling in 2008. We've been carrying a burden for a mighty long time.
Richardson is trying to draw attention away from national unemployment by pointing out black unemployment. And she says that the black community has been struggling with those numbers for a long time. That's because they keep voting in people like you, Democrat after Democrat. They don't give Republicans a chance at office in their communities. They put Democrats in office. So they need look no further than the Democrats who run their communities for the unemployment problems that they've had, because Republicans aren't welcome in office there to do anything. How about this?
But there are folks who have given up. So that's why in our communities, you're probably saying, okay, look, my father was from India. I'm still a black guy from Detroit, all right? So anyway, I had to get that out of the way.
You know, when I speak at a Tea Party event, I don't have to try to qualify myself as a white person to gain the favor of the white folks at a Tea Party. I can stand on stage and not have to say, I'm a white man just like you. I can give my speech as a black man and be received as an American. Ooh, all right, kiddies, hold up your doodoo spoons, because as Andrew Clavin would say, here's some more crap.
Put them around the table and let them know that if they don't come up with loan modifications and keep people in their homes that they've worked so hard for, we're going to tax them out of business.
Tax them out of business. Hey, that sounds like a great idea. That's why people are having a hard time finding jobs now. One, because you Democrats look for any reason to impose punitive taxes, which makes it hard for job creators to hire. And two, you force the banks to loan money to people who show no proof that they can pay the money back. And a big part of the reason why they can't pay the money back is because people can't find jobs because you tax them all away.
There are those who would like to get rid of all of the public housing, but they don't tell us where the people are going to go. All right. As far as I'm concerned, they will not touch Nickerson Gardens, Georgetown,
Oh, hell no. You don't want people to touch your Democrat voting stocks. Let's build more government dependency. Yay!
One of the things we really do have to do, instead of saying, oh, we can't do this, we can't do that, because the right-wing conservatives on the opposite side, and they don't want me to say this word tonight, but I'm going to say it anyway, the Tea Party. Because they are in the majority in the House.
The Tea Party doesn't have the majority in the House. You're still lying, Ms. Waters. I'll remind you, the Tea Party isn't a political party. Now, the reason why you're having that town hall meeting, Ms. Waters, is because you're supposed to be answering to your constituency. Your constituency is there to hold you accountable and make sure you represent them. That's the way it's supposed to be, Ms. Waters. Well, the Tea Party does the same thing. We're not a political wing. We're constituents just like yours who hold our representatives accountable.
The president needs the jobs bill to bring down unemployment so he can be reelected.
So let me get this straight. You want to extend unemployment benefits so people can be comfortable being unemployed longer while thinking you can bring down unemployment? You're not seeing a flaw in that formula?
Thanks for having me. I am from New Orleans, Louisiana.
My name is Hanson Clark. I represent metropolitan Detroit. I am born and raised still in the city of Detroit. And now I know.
Why do y'all applaud these cities? These cities aren't doing very well. And a big part of the reasons these cities like New Orleans and Detroit aren't doing so well is because y'all keep voting in Democrats to run these areas. Woo, Detroit, they've got more than a 70% high school dropout rate. Woo! Detroit unemployment rate is over 20%. Woo! It's bizarre. They complain because of the crappy situations of their communities, yet they applaud the loudest for the communities that are doing the crappiest. Weird, man.
I don't know if there are any taxpayers in here, and I'm not going to ask you to hold up your hand. Anybody want to say they pay a tax once in a while? Anybody pay a tax once in a while?
What the hell kind of question is that? You Democrats make sure that everybody everywhere is paying taxes on everything. Okay, now let's play some stuff from Jesse Jackson.
So much focus this week on...
What?
Our lesson last time, we must now make a commitment. I think she'll hit it.
What?
100 years of legal Jim Crow, and we fought and won that battle.
Okay, I think Jesse Jackson is saying something about he's been a part of fighting 100 years of Jim Crow. Jesse, you didn't fight the enactors of the Jim Crow laws. You joined them. If you are a Democrat, then you have joined the party that enacted the Jim Crow laws.
We said behind Irene, you need jobs, you need contracts, you need them now. We need the same thing Hurricane Irene jobs needs. We've been in a Hurricane Irene now.
Oh, you're right, Reverend. And it's because of all you windbags up on that stage amounting to a Category 4 hurricane that have always been blowing down them cities. What else we got?
I'm glad that there's media outlets here. I really am. And I'm glad that this has been widely covered. But part of the way that it's been covered, frankly, has pissed me off extremely.
Always want to see you divided? You've separated these people. Influences like yours cause them to close themselves off in their communities and not branch out. And then they complain that everybody else has jobs. Get out there and compete for jobs. You want the government to force somebody else to give you a job. It ain't gonna work. So that's a bit of what it is, y'all. But it's not an insurmountable problem. Not all of them are totally had by the Democrat Party. So thanks for watching and hanging out with me. I'm Alfonso Rachel with ZoNation, where church is a place for you to go to hear the truth. And it's hard to hear the truth when a preacher is politicizing in tongues.
So much focus this week on...
Wait, what?